How's it going there, fellas and fellettes? Today, we're tackling the big one. This, in my opinion, is even going to be worse than the cab. The cab, at least, it was already rotten and we could move things around. This was modified at some point in its life quite heavily, over knowing what I know now. Basically, this structure here should have kept on coming around on both sides. It doesn't anymore. Somewhere along the line, they fiberglassed and body filled, and it's bad. It's really bad. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the mask on, and we're just going to go to town with the grinder and just see how much we can unearth and see if we can find out just what exactly went on with this front end. So yeah, let's see if we find anything. Welcome to Hi-Ho Stable Garage. Yeah, and this stuff's like no joke. We got at least an inch worth of Bondo here, all along the seams, at the top, all over the thing. There's a skim coat of Bondo, and it's just bad news bears all around. That was a lot of Bondo, not gonna lie. There's pretty much Bondo all over the floor, so I'm quite happy I was wearing my respirator, or else all of that would be in here. But let's take a look at what we're actually dealing with now, because now that we have 98% of the Bondo and fiberglass and whatever else was used to patch on this thing, we kind of have an idea of what exactly we're working with. So let me bring you guys in. So as it sits, the tops of these fenders aren't that bad. Where the little signal light goes, right there, this side is blown out. So it's going to need a patch there. Not a huge deal compared to the rest of it. Let me bring you into the passenger side headlight bezel. What we thought this entire time turns out to be true. This grille used to come down all the way around here, go around the light, and back in. You can clearly see where they cut the entire grille and bent this section in. This used to be out to here. This whole section right here is gone. Not quite sure what happened to that, but it's been heavily modified. You can see weld across the entire thing. It might even be brazed, tell you honest truth. But basically, both headlight bezels are completely modified. The entire bottom is pretty rotten, but it's not the worst. We would have to replace basically this entire section, that entire section, etc., etc. This headlight bezel, same idea. Where your reflector or turn signal goes, that's pretty much blown out. That's pretty much blown out. They're supposed to be rectangles from factory. As for the grille, the main section of the grille isn't that bad. Again, we're missing our corner pieces. Now, as I was going through this, we actually found a bunch of lead filler right here. So this patch right there is pretty old, not gonna lie. It's basically just brazed in patchwork, and then it was lead filled over, but that right there, fellas, is likely mid-60s, might even be late 50s when that was done. So here's the back, but we already knew this was bad based off the fiberglass work when we took it off the main part of the cab before we put it on the truck. This whole section back here needs to be redone on both sides. From like right here to there, I'm going to have to cut out and just basically refabricate that. But that's not a big deal considering we're going to have to modify this anyway to fit on our chassis outside. Now, one thing I thought was rather interesting is our inner fenders are actually in really good shape compared to the rest of the truck, compared to everything else. Basically just this back lip here and the back lip there, but the inner fenders themselves are really good. Now, I'm not quite sure if I can use those inner fenders, especially since the 5.4 is so large and we got a lot of aftermarket accessories, but if I can, that saves us a lot of work down the road. If I can't though, I'll likely try to save them the best I can and likely resell them on Marketplace because they're in pretty good shape. For someone that's restoring a 54 International to stock, you know, that's not in nearly as bad a shape as this, they might be able to use these there and help them out. So right here is a little bit of damage, which is a little bit interesting. There was about, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of Bondo on this, and it was all to hide this patch right here. I'm not quite sure why they added it, tell you honest truth. The patch itself is what's rotten, but as you can see, there's still solid fender steel underneath it, so unless it was blown out somewhere here in the middle. While we got it upside down too, we'll come over here. This would be the passenger side. That's the top. This is the bottom. As you can see, they did a lot of fiberglass work along the edge of the cab where it meets this fender. And then this is just kind of roofing tin that's been riveted on. Lots to think about on that. So, in the grand scheme of things, like I've been saying to a lot of people, I think the front end, we're going to have way more work into this than we will into the box sides, stuff like that. Maybe not the cab, but the front end for sure. My current plan is to blow off these fenders, blow out the inner fenders, separate them completely. That way I can fix them off this front end assembly. And then we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with the front. Are we going to basically polish up the old modified front, redoing the headlight areas, incorporating it back into the grill, making this truck look like stock again from the front end, but we'll just have to see how we're going to do that down the road. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a lot of time lapse, I know, but there was an awful lot of Bondo on this entire thing. There's about half an inch of Bondo all over the floor right now. It's going to be a mess to clean up. I'll see you guys in the next one really, really soon. All right, see ya.